Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long was 1975. A YouTuber on the rise, reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long Boys Bros 1975.
Okay, that was pretty banging synthesized speech, especially since this is a 48K game only, I believe. I mean, there was no 128 in... well, there was in 85. Anyway, as far as I know, there's only a 48K version, but by all means correct me. So that's impressive speech. Anyway, welcome to another ZX Spectrum Vs Commodore 64 comparison video, as I like to call it, Playground Wars. In this video, I'll be taking a look at Odin computer graphics, Robin of the Wood, again released in 1985. It was released on all the 8-bits, I believe. Anyway, the reason I wanted to play this is very recently, or dependent upon when I made that live, in this live, I played Firelord, and it reminded me of Saberwolf, which in turn reminded me of this, and a lot of games that kind of use that sort of, you know, run around flip screen kind of game aesthetic. And I have a massive amount of nostalgia for this game. It was extremely well reviewed, and I remember my brother Jason, I don't know where he got it or whom he got it off, but he just showed up after school one day with it. Came in a brilliant clamshell, has an arrow splitting at the other arrow, like in the archery tournament in Robin Hood, which is a gameplay, or what the story of this game is based on, I should say. And yeah, it was, you just remember playing it, and like many games back then, I never really got particularly far on it or accomplished any of the objectives, but just enjoyed it very much and had a great amount of fun playing it. Remember it looking really rather splendid, so I thought, let's take a look at it again and compare it to the Commodore 64 version. The music is alright for a beeper. Got kind of a Celtic thing going on. So anyway, you play Robin of the Wood, and the Sheriff of Nottingham is planning a archery tournament with a solid silver arrow as the prize and as bait for you. So what you have to do, it's an exploration maze and collection game. You start off with a bow staff so you can defend yourself, and there are certain points where you spawn, such as in prison or in the main map in Sherwood Forest, and you have to basically get 3 enchanted arrows from the forest end or something, and a bow. But in order to do that, you have to pay 3 bags of gold for each of those items, so you can then get to the castle and get to the tournament, which I believe is the game, you know, completion. Never ever achieved any of that as a kid. You can get normal arrows, which I believe means you can eventually get a regular bow to defend yourself with, and it's a huge game. Look up the maps on World of Spectrum. There's a couple of maps by different people on there. Won't include them, copyright, but they are huge. And the other reason we loved this back in the day as a kid, I'm just setting up here kind of, you know, why I have such fond memories of this game. Might possibly, you know, lead into a bit of bias or fanboyism. There was a TV series back in the day on ITV, early evening or very late afternoon, on called Robin of Sherwood, and it was quite adult and featured very dark themes for a kids show. I think it featured Ray Winston, and there's an infamous episode, because my mate found a couple of episodes on a VHS tape in the early 2000s, or late 90s I should say, where during one of the scenes Ray Winston's character gets so carried away fighting the sheriff's men that we kept rewinding it, and I'm pretty sure he drops an F-bomb. In fact, I'm pretty sure he says fucking Bosch. By all means correct me on that, but I definitely remember watching that. So yeah, that was a big deal, and right about the time that this game came out, every kid loved Robin Hood. Every kid loves Robin Hood anyway, to be fair. So let's get into it. I've only ever very briefly played the Commodore 64, and I mean literally 20 or so seconds, when Alan Mainmeister sent me a file on Instant Messenger. So I had the firmware upgrade for my C64 Mini, and he sent me a big dump of ROMs, and it was in there. And I do remember thinking at the time very briefly, this is quite a bit different from the Spectrum, but hey, what can you tell in 20 seconds? So let's get into this. 1, keyboard, fire, M, Q up, A down, O left, P right. It would appear that those are the keys anyway, then. Right, and then we go 0 to get into the game. Oh, that's iconic. Right, so anyway, here I am. Look at the animation on the sprite. I think it's awesome. And how colourful it is, but because there's a black background, it gets around attribute clash absolutely fantastically. I have a bow staff. There are sound effects, but there is no in-game music, which is a bit poor. See that kind of bramble looking thing at the bottom of the screen that is white? That is representative of my health. So the more damage I take, because we will, oh, by these guys, it will change colours, and then you die and you have to start again. So it's balls horrifically hard, and will need a map, which is why it reminds me of Saberwolf and Firelord. Oh shit! Because it is huge, and there are certain points in it. There's like the tree end, there's Marion, you can see a Vratuk walking through the forest. I do like the fact that their bodies stay there. Let's double check. Yes. Maybe you can use them to navigate. And yeah, there's a lot going on, but if you have a quick go like I'm doing here, you're only going to scratch the surface. And to be fair, that's much like me playing it as a kid. But there was just a charm to it, and the fact that Robin of Sherwood, which had its own game, but I think that was an adventure, was such a big deal. If this was 1 to 8 and it could have music in game as well, that would be fantastic. They can shoot you off the screen. See, my herb, if you will, is now yellow. Also, there's a witch in it, and if you come across her, or he, I can't remember, you can be healed, but you have to give them stuff and things like that. If you get stuff, it appears beneath your herb. You cannot kill the animals, but my god, you can take pummel after pummel from a crossbow bolt, but fuck with a hedgehog, I think that's what it is, and you're screwed. So let's see if we can find a quiver and a bag of gold. Like I said, the map is absolutely massive. And it's such nice bright colours, and for a 1985 game, it gets around attribute class absolutely fantastically. This is a better looking game by many premium companies and premium price games many years later. I don't know what else they did, Odin. I should look it up, because based on this, it could be fantastic, but also it may not be very much. Anyway, Robin Hood films I like. Favourite Robin Hood film, Disney, you know, with Baloo and stuff like that. Second favourite, guilty pleasure, I know, and his accent is shit, but I love Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. The more gritty and realistic they try and get, the less I care. What was the Sean Connery one? With Marion, something I can't remember. Saw it years ago, but actually really quite liked that one. Hopefully I can find some stuff. Ooh! So you can see what's going on. By the way, don't run in the middle of the screen. Run at the top or at the bottom, like, you know, beneath these things here, because they can shoot, not just from the other screen like that, but it's incredibly easy for them to shoot you, and you have to somewhat line yourself up to twat them. It's a very satisfying noise when you do. Look, I've got a quiver of arrows. They aren't the arrows you need, the enchanted ones, which hide your identity so you can enter the contest. They're just regular arrows for when I guess you get a regular bow. Or do you use them with the special bow? I don't know. All things I never achieved as a kid. But I think this looks absolutely fantastic. I really, really do. It's really tight controls. They're really quick and sharp. Even though he misses that bloke twice. And look, there's no attribute clash on the bad guys either. Now it is a game where you will obviously need a map. And again, go to the World of Spectrum, go to Files. You can't download the ROM from World of Spectrum. It's not on there for some reason, but you can get it from Spectrum Computing. But yeah, I guess that's what you bribe the witch with or something. By all means, correct me if I'm wrong if you complete this or you're badass at this, because I openly admit that I am not. But yeah, look up the maps on World of Spectrum. There's various ones like on grid paper, and then ones where people have actually drawn them out. And it is huge. Yoink. So yeah, it's just one of those games that... Just, you know, like many games you would play as a kid that you would never ever finish, but you still look fondly upon them and had a massive amount of fun playing them back in the day. If Jason, you watch this, that's my brother, because I know you watch my videos. What was the deal with this and how you just ended up showing up with it? Oh, shite. That was in the back of the head. Ended up showing up with this one day. I do like the game over music. Right. 0. I don't know who's supposed to be laughing. Yeah, this is one of the locations you start in. It's a prison. And it's loaded with guards. You would hope so. Look at that! You would hope so in a prison. But we can't leave. You leave by... There's just like... There's no door. I'll show it to you. But if you go out, there's like a blockade outside. There. It's the crappiest prison ever. Look. Just go out, mate. Ha ha ha! Wooden door. What are you going to do now? But because it's... Well, it's run by morons. There's a key up. Sure. And then if you go out... Sure. You can go, well, it disappears. However, and I won't do it, you can take my word for it. If you go back in and try and come out again, the blockade's reappeared and you have to go and get the key again. That's just a spawning point. But yeah, so like oh! No lives, mind. I think we poked it. We still didn't. Oh, I got life. You collect lives. That's a very interesting mechanic. Very interesting indeed. But yeah, oh, quiver. So... You need to basically complete tasks. Is that a witch? Am I healed? No, because it was white if I was healed. Or was that Marion? There is a teleport element in this, but I can't remember what it is, how it's triggered, and whom it happens to, whether it's you or other characters. You will see Friar Tuck walking through the woods. And you'll also see him being shadowed by guards. Or is it the sheriff? I don't know. But you see what I mean about it being very saber-wolfy and, again, Firelordy, which is that make a map. There were, I think, maybe it was Crash, there was a map of it in, and it would have been with screenshots taken individually, each screen with a camera. I loved it when they did this. In the centre of Crash magazine, is that the prison? It won't let me back in. Perhaps I have to re-offend. But yeah, so this is what I meant about these types of games. See, if one game is successful, you know, or type of game, then everyone, you know, had a pop at it, didn't they? And Ultimate were kind of ringleaders in that. Obviously, they made Saberwolf. And I was crap at all these types of games. I wish I could find one of the characters so you could see more. But my entire childhood of playing this game is coming back. Well, oh, screw it, I'll let you live. I'm nice. Oh, I'm nice like that. See about the bloke on the other side of the screen? That's a bit irritating. I don't know if that's intended to happen, or a bugage, if you will. But there you go. So, you know what? 85, 3 years into the Spectrum's life, this looks shiny and fantastic. Would have liked in-game music, but it's, you know, it's a very early... Well, it's not a very early Spectrum game, it's a 48K game. They didn't give you music. It wasn't until the 128 and the AY chip that you got in-game music. Alright, Manic Miner, I am aware of that. But, yeah, I don't know if I go as far as to call that music once you've listened to it for 30 seconds. More like straight torture. Quiver and a life. We're living the friggin' dream. My gang of merry men. You could help me out, you know? Just saying. Although I think it's Little John who sets up everything for you to help you to get the stuff you need for this contest, which is obviously the quest or the end of the game. I've got 2 lives. Aha! Oh. Ooh! See what I mean? And it starts you off straight where you died, which means potential for running into the same enemy again is quite high. I'm massively lost, which is kind of the purpose of these games. Again, without a map, you aren't completing shit. But then also you got that feeling, which is, am I going in circles? I've yet to see bags of gold. They used to show up all the time when I was a kid. In real life, I'm not talking about the game. Right. Also, you would think, since this is your home, Robin, you would have a map at hand. Right, okay, I am managing to, unless that's another part of the yellow, you know, wood wall that has a quiver of arrows by it. I don't know. But yeah, plays super tight, looks really nice, sound is adequate, it's a 48K sound. Can't really complain on that front. I'm pretty sure the 128K came out in... Oh, did it come out in 85? And I'm confusing it with the Amstrad full releases. Look at that. It's death on a stick from everyone. No face. because of course. But yeah, I'm gonna have a look at a few more games, whether they're comparison videos or straight up gameplays of this type of kind of saber wolfy exploration game. Adventure game, I guess it's what it is, because of the nature of having to collect stuff to complete objectives. But oh, it's very forthcoming with the lives. I had a weird deja vu-y feeling that you had lives in it. I just couldn't remember that you had to collect them. By the way, you can't kill them. I've tried a lot. Mainly because it pisses off Bilodi. Right. Okay, well, let's have a look at the Commodore 64 version, which will generally be the first proper time I've played it, because as I said, when Alan sent me those files, I just literally had a little look. So, oh, I'm in the head, always in the back of the head. So, just want to see if I can find some money. Oh, he thinks he's going somewhere, but in a minute he's going to come straight back to an obvious bit and realise, yeah, I've been running in circles. Again, the nature of these games. Right, so, fucking bosh. Let's have a look at the Commodore 64 version. So here we go with the title screen, or the loading screen I should say, and it's somewhat the same image as the Spectrum. It's just a far more realistic looking or depiction of Robin. That said, it is very brown. Here's the thing though, where's the sampled speech? This is a disk image, so this pops up before I get to the actual title screen, because I'm playing this on my C64 Mini, and I don't have to play it with the god-awful joystick that comes with it, because I did find out that my Retrobit wired USB controller that came with one of the Retrobit, emulation systems I bought, I forget its name, but I've got a review of it somewhere, works on this, so I get to play it with a fully responsive D-pad and not that god-awful joystick. But yeah, where's the sampled speech? Sampled speech on a Spectrum 48K, but not on a Commodore 64. Who knew? Anyway, let's get into it. So here we go on the actual title screen, and it's pretty much, the same as the Spectrum. We get some lovely SID chip goodness. I mean, the Spectrum 48K especially was never gonna be a challenge for the SID chip. I mean, to be honest, neither would the AY chip. However, it is somewhat the same tune, which is kind of interesting. So let's get into it. So we got it set to joystick. So yeah, joystick it is, straight into the game. Right, so there I am. Ickle Robin. Ickle Robin. In the bottom of the screen we have the same route. Oh shit. Same route that we have on the ZX Spectrum. Beneath that we have hearts. And it appears that the hearts are my health, which makes a little bit more sense in the Spectrum version, because knowing what colour equals death, and how many you cycle through them is a bit poor. So I kind of prefer the hearts. Interesting, it's different, and it's very interesting that we start with 3 lives. Whether or not this means that we can acquire more lives along the way, I don't know. And as you just saw when I twatted that bloke with my staff, that we've got, and you can hear it. For once we've got sound as well as music. So here we go. Now here's the thing, right? You're tiny, your animation is lovely, your colour is very nice. You would expect that on the Commodore 64. No attribute clash. You can tell it's obviously the same game on 2 different ports. Smaller sprites, very, oh shit, well animated. But I'm not going to lie, before you all say Spectrum fanboy, which obviously I am, I prefer the fact that the Spectrum one, he's a lot more detailed. Alright, there's a little bit of attribute clash on him. Parts of his body, don't bleed into other parts like this guy here. But I prefer the fact that he's far more detailed, because this guy looks like a Lego figure that you've left in the sun so long that he's kind of warped. But, right. I tell you what, as well. Oh. The controls are a little bit sluggish. They're not quite as... I didn't even hit him. Well, did he just get... If there's a bloke in this screen, he just got shot by his own guy. No. But I didn't hit him, you saw that. Yeah, they're a little bit sluggish compared to the Spectrum. And you seem to get stuck on everything. And no one likes getting stuck on bush. It's awkward. But anyway, points for the music. I do like that. There may have been a 128K version. I'm pretty sure there wasn't. Right. But yeah, same game, obviously. So, oh, I gotta say I do prefer the sprites on the Spectrum. I get that there's attribute clash, I get that. I'm dead? No, I'm not dead. I can't. It wouldn't let me use my staff. Look, look. I don't know what it is about that piece of ground there. But once I go here, I can't use my staff. Bug. Anyway, you can see your icons in the bottom of the screen. Apparently it's a lot easier to get money in the Commodore 64 version. I'm getting stuck again. But anyway, like the background on this, they're both extremely, you know, colourful. There's no attribute clash on this, but you can't say that one's got better colour than the other one. Or you possibly could because of attribute clash, I guess, if you're being picky, but no. Because you've accidentally got a black background, which is the area you run in, you move about in, and the confines of the screen are what's coloured, then they're both, you know what, one doesn't necessarily look a massive amount better than the other one. Obviously your mileage may vary if you grew up with Commodore 64. I didn't. You lucky sumbitch. There we go. Quill. Money. Right. I don't feel like I'm running in circles quite so much. I never looked up the map for this version. I'm going to... I just quantum leaped out. I'm going to assume that it's exactly the same as the Spectrum. I don't know. The only part I can kind of run, or hope I can run to know that, see, I would have said that was a dead end, is the wall. Right. Now, it's been years since I've played the Specky version. Well, it's not, because I just played it before this one, but what I mean is, I'm pretty sure, whether it's the same with the Commodore, and again, I haven't done it since I was a kid, if you find the tree ant that I very briefly mentioned, doesn't he give, there you go, doesn't he give you a sword? I do like the colour of the wall. Getting stuck on the scenery again. Yes, sticky as hell. And you are slow. Massively slow. I'm not saying that the Spectrum version is Usain Bolt, but it feels sluggish. Oh, again, stuck on the scenery. Weird. Did he take any health? Herb. Right. Up and to the left, that's my game plan. I don't know what that is. Oh, see? Oh yeah! Come on, Robin, sort your shit out. By the way, when I went into the D section of the discs, you know, on the memory stick that's in my C64 Mini, then underneath, no, above this game, stop sticking to the bloody... When was Robin Hood? Velcro Boy. Above this game, sorry, is Robin of Sherwood, which is the game of the series I was talking about in the Spectrum half of this video. I should... Oh, look! Got a guard, so he can't be a good guy. Did I get money then? I got something then. Did I? Who is it? That can't be the sheriff. Oh, it's not a ghost. Yeah, so maybe I'll take a look. If it is an adventure game, I can't play it on this because obviously the keys don't work. And I can't get a USB keyboard to be recognised, even though it recognises its retro-bit control pad. Anyway, so it looks nice. I mean, the background at least I personally think is on par with the Spectrum. I prefer the fact that everything's a bit bigger in the Spectrum. Oh, but that might just be personal taste. Or growing up with the Spectrum. I thought he was going to fucking Casper through the wall then. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the small sprites either. I'm certainly not a fan of the controls feeling like this and sticking to the background. Points definitely for the fact that your heart system is a better way to display your health. Massive points for that. That's so much better an idea than the Spectrum version. I don't know why they didn't go that way on the Spectrum version. It can't be because of limitations. And to be fair, it also means on this they could have got rid of that, you know, rose thorn thingy, herb line or whatever it is. Oh. And also, I think I kind of prefer the fact that you start with lives. Look, I got loads of shit going on. Give me somewhere to spend it. Use it. Upgrade. Where's the witch? She wants herb. I would say that the bad guys in this as well. Look. He's half dead on one side of the screen, half dead on the other. Yeah, they're not quite as trigger happy with their bows. Look, I got stuck again. I can't fire. That's weird. I'll have money though. You could practically retire in the Commodore version though, can't you? Look how much dosh I got. Right, I'm just going to keep running to the left. Seems to work. Money, money, money. Does it start replacing other items if there's only a certain amount of stuff I can hold? So I run around it. It then becomes a sort of, stop sticking to shit, collecting, you know, system that you get in games like 3 Weeks in Paradise and stuff. Ooh. And also, can you run, and this goes with both versions, from one side of the map to the other side of the map if you get to, like, literally certain points? You don't start in prison in this. What killed me? You don't start in prison at this. See, I killed him in this version, I would think then. Though I haven't so far. It says that. It's going to be prison now? I'm just running forever. Oh! It's good to see that exactly as a Spectrum version. You would need to draw a map. Or grid paper a map. Not literally draw everything you see on screen. Stop sticking to shit! Everything you see on screen. Although, there are some maps like that out there. Seriously, look up the maps on World Spectrum. I understand that's for Spectrum. That's the controls are starting to really annoy me in this. As is not getting anywhere fast. Still, we saw a character, other than the guards. That was nice. Enjoyed that. Oh. See, I don't know. Am I replacing shit? No, I'm going to keep going. If I keep going, I have to get somewhere. What is it you do in a maze? You take every left-hand turn, and then don't you eventually... This is an urban legend I heard. Eventually, you'll cover the entire maze itself and find yourself on the way out. I don't know. I don't plan on going to somewhere and trying it in case it's wrong and I end up stuck in a maze. This is one of those really small ones where you can see over the walls, because I know, random. Then you can obviously just cheat and jump over. Not the maze in The Shining, basically. Right. I have to say, I think the music's still a bit of a small loop, but still it's got music, so points for that. Oi! Don't seem to have to line yourself up with the guards as well as you do with the other version. That's a small thing. They are butchering me. Wait! Getting irritating. I mean, I would say they're both as well animated as the other. Hold on. Right, well, let's round up. First of all, it's got music in-game. Hardly surprising, it's the Commodore 64 version. I could be wrong, but there isn't a 128K version on the Spectrum, so that's kind of cool. Second of all, as I did mention, the heart... I'm stuck. Look, look. The heart system is a massive improvement over just having a sort of colour system on that route or whatever it is. That's a massive, massive improvement. Graphically, I guess it comes down to what you prefer, because they're both very, very colourful games. I prefer the show. I understand that's not to everyone's taste, you know, Specky fanboy and all that, but I prefer the bigger sprites in the Spectrum that have more detail compared to the smaller sprites in this. They're just as well animated, but, well, they're small. And while they have colour, like I said, they're chunky. That is obviously because the game is in colour, and so it doesn't do... Who's that? Oh, is this a regular guard? In order to get a higher resolution to match the Spectrum, there's a mode that dips the colour, isn't there? That's my understanding. But they're ultimately exactly the same game, you know, whether it's easier to play with the hearts or not. But the absolute reason I would say I prefer the Spectrum... What? Witchcraft! Is the controls in this. They're sluggish, and it's not the joystick. I'm using my Retrobit pad, and as you've seen, there are moments where I get stuck on the scenery. Sometimes not just a question of I can navigate around it and get stuck on it a little bit. I literally stick to it, which you saw running on the spot. And there are other moments where I break out. I can't break out my bow staff. And honestly, I don't know. Am I running from one side of the map to the other? And where's the bird that this feather came from? So, just my thoughts, just my opinion. As always, it's a subjective thing. I'm going to say I prefer the Spectrum version. Both versions, it's not a game for everyone because, see, I couldn't use my staff again now because, you know, there's a massive amount of exploration and a massive amount of back, and can't use my staff there. Yeah, definitely glitchy on this one, definitely glitchy. But yeah, it's a massive amount of exploration, back and forth, collecting objects. That's both versions, so you know, both versions it's not a game for everyone. But yeah, definitely Spectrum, if only because the controls on this. Didn't realise they were that glitchy, sticky, different bloke. It's the guy from Asterix, Ghoul Leader. Yeah, weird. Anyways, also, I'd love to know what you think, especially if you played this game on any of the 8-bits that it was on, and you got to the later levels of it, so later parts of, later achievements in it, I should say, or even made it to the tournament itself. I'd love to know. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you later.